Hey St. John's Riverkeeper community, Megan Riggs here with this week's Nature Skills Sharing. We have Viviana del Campo from the Middle Basin. She is our young professionals group, the Rising Tides Middle Basin Liaison. She's caring for a baby alligator from Wekiva Springs State Park. You can find these gators in the upper, middle, and lower basin. So make sure you learn a few facts and enjoy.
Hello, my name is Viviana. I am a volunteer with the St. John's Riverkeepers. I also serve as the Middle Basin Liaison for the Rising Tides Committee, which is awesome. I am going to talk about this little guy today and all of his big brothers and sisters. And if you have spent any time at all on the St. John's River, you've probably seen one of these. So, you are probably wondering, why do I have an alligator in my house? The reason that I have an alligator in my house is because he is an education ambassador. He lives at Wekiva Springs State Park in the Nature Center, where you can go visit him normally, but because of the pandemic, volunteers were not allowed in the state park for some time. So we needed to take these guys out to our home so that we could properly care for him. And that's how he came to be with me for just a little season. So this little guy is around 8 months old and he's about 1.5 feet long, but he will grow to be an average of 10 feet, which is crazy that I'm holding a future monster. The longest alligator on record was 15 feet long, which is crazy that they can get that big. Alligators live around 50 years max, so that's a long time for a reptile. This little alligator, he's about 8 months old. He is not a wild alligator. He is captive bred and he will not go back to the wild ever. So do not think that because I have a little alligator, you can go find your own little alligator. That is against the law and also a big threat because mama alligators are very large and they're very protective of their little babies. So for about 2 years, the mama gators will stay with the babies, and alligators, these baby alligators, have the cutest little chirp in the world, but it's also the most horrifying chirp in the world because they are signaling their mama, which means that there is trouble. So if you hear an alligator chirp, you want to keep going. So there's about 200 million? Or is it 2 million? There are 2 million alligators in the state of Florida. You will find them in every county. It hasn't always been like that, unfortunately. In the 1960s, they were listed on the endangered species list, and 20 years later, fortunately, they were able to bounce back. And now we have a very, very healthy number of alligators living around Florida, which is awesome. It's a good sign of a healthy ecosystem. So fun fact, alligators are still protected today, even though there is a large number and you'll find them in almost any lake and pond and river and body of water that you find around Florida. They're still a protected species because of the American crocodile, which lives in South Florida. Because they look so similar, especially if you're not used to seeing the difference between alligators and crocodiles, you can easily mistake them. Everest. We'll go have some food after this, okay? You're doing a good job. So just to talk about his markings a little bit is, I'll bring him a little closer to the camera and show you. Woo! When he gets bigger, he will be just solid black. I don't know, sometimes you see cartoons and they're green or they're yellow, but alligators are pretty black. So one cool thing that I learned about alligators recently is that they are actually eco-engineers in the Everglades. What happens is, because they're cold-blooded and they cannot regulate their own body heat, when it gets too hot for them, they start digging down into the ground with their snouts and with their claws into the limestone beds, and they make these pools of water where fish and turtles and other organisms can thrive during the dry season. Just to talk a little bit about some gator safety tips today. Number 1, do not feed alligators. Big no-no, don't do it. Number 2, keep pets away from the water's edge. This is when accidents happen, is when a gator, which is an opportunist eater, thinks that your little cat or dog is their meal. Number 3, swim only in designated swimming areas and swim only during the day. Number 4, keep your distance. Keep your distance away from these guys. They're really cool to see. I love it when I see them when I'm out kayaking and I take a cool pictures, but I'm minding my own business and they're minding theirs. And do not harass them, do not provoke them, as they are dangerous creatures. They don't always stay this cute and little. Although we should all have a healthy fear of alligators, they are very misunderstood creatures, and they are America's favorite reptile. Just one thing to remember, that it is not as common for people to die of alligator attacks as you would think. There's only been 24 fatalities in the state of Florida since 1948. Even though that we do need to be careful and take precautions, it's not that likely that you will get attacked by one of these guys one day. That's all I have for today. I hope to see you out on the river soon. Goodbye.
Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed Viviana's baby alligator. Tune in next week for more updates from our members, volunteers, and partners of the St. John's Riverkeeper. If you want to submit an entry, just get in contact with me, Megan Riggs, Volunteer Program Manager. Take care.